In the vast wild expanses of national parks, where nature's beauty is unparalleled, lie mysteries that have perplexed many. The stories of 5 children who vanished without a trace. These tales are not just about the mystery of their disappearance, but also a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of the wilderness. From the dense, whispering forest to the silent, imposing mountains, each story unfolds against the backdrop of some of the most majestic landscapes, where every trail can tell a tale of wonder or a chilling narrative of loss. In the heart of summer 1938, the Beilharz family decided to embrace the warm embrace of nature and venture into the vast expanses of Colorado's Rocky Mountain National Park for the Independence Day weekend. Among them was little Alfred Edwin Beilharz, a 4-year-old boy with sparkling eyes and an infectious giggle, who was about to become the center of a tale that would echo through the mountains for decades. The Beilharz, a lively family of 10 from Denver, found their haven near the murmuring waters where the roaring and fall rivers converged, just below the cascading Horseshoe Falls. The campsite they chose was a picture of serene beauty, a quarter-mile west of the Fall River Lodge, where laughter and chatter filled the air as they set up their tents. The morning of July 3rd, it dawned bright and clear, promising a day full of adventure and joy. William Harvey Beilharz, Alfred's father, led his young son by the hand to a nearby stream to wash up, a simple ritual that marked the beginning of their day amidst nature's grandeur. Close by, family friends Orrin Bronson and Walter Hansen ventured upstream to refresh themselves, unaware of the events that would soon unfold. After washing up, Alfred, ever curious and eager to explore, decided to follow Orrin and Walter back to the camp once they were finished. His little feet carried him swiftly upstream, a bright red shirt bobbing through the greenery, a beacon of youthful exuberance. However, they were alone when Orrin and Walter returned to the campsite. Alfred was nowhere to be seen. In those brief moments, the boy had vanished, leaving behind a silence that was as palpable as it was ominous. The tranquility of Rocky Mountain National Park was shattered, replaced by a growing sense of dread. What followed was a search that mobilized over 100 people, drawing in members of the Civilian Conservation Corps, park rangers, and volunteers. They scoured the forest, riverbanks, and rugged terrains, their voices calling out for Alfred, hoping against hope for a sign, any sign, of the young boy. But the mountain held its secrets close. Reports emerged of Alfred being spotted atop a remote outcrop known as Devil's Nest, and whispers of a mysterious man seen with a child on a road nearby wove themselves into the fabric of the search, adding layers of mystery and heartache. Days turned into weeks, and the extensive efforts to find Alfred yielded nothing. The river was dammed and searched, sniffer dogs lost the scent, and a piece of soiled bandage in an abandoned cabin offered a glimmer of hope that quickly dimmed. Desperate for answers, the family clung to the belief that Alfred had been abducted, a theory fueled by a ransom note that surfaced months later, promising the return of their son for a price. Yet this lead, like so many others, faded into the realm of unanswered questions. The disappearance of Alfred Edwin Beilharz became a tale etched into the lore of the park, a poignant story of joy turned to despair amidst the backdrop of America's rugged beauty. It is a haunting reminder of nature's ability to awe and mystify the thin line between adventure and tragedy. As the years passed, the Beilharz family was left with the heavy burden of the unknown, their lives forever marked by the mystery of what happened to little Alfred in the vast expanse of Rocky Mountain National Park. It is a tale of love and loss, of a family's enduring quest for answers in the hope of finding peace amidst the echoes of laughter that was silenced too soon. On a crisp morning in July 1987, nestled within the breathtaking vistas of Victoria's Wilson's Promontory, the Hildebrand family embarked on what was meant to be a joyous family outing. With Joe's 11th birthday just a few days away, the family was accompanied by their mother, Christine, Joe's younger brother, Patrick, affectionately known as Patty, and cousins. It was a day like any other, filled with laughter and the anticipation of adventure in the wild. Patty, a 9-year-old boy with a contagious smile, suffered from epilepsy and had intellectual disabilities that never dimmed his spirit. He was the kind of child who brought joy with his presence, making the bushwalk seem like another opportunity for family bonding. With its sprawling landscapes and lush trails, The promontory was the perfect backdrop for such a gathering. Paddy's excitement was palpable as they traversed the winding paths, surrounded by the sounds of nature. He loved being outdoors, in a place where his laughter could echo freely. The family, familiar with the area and its serene beauty, felt at ease in the wilderness that had become a canvas for their memories. But tranquility turned to panic when Paddy ran ahead of the group in a moment of childlike curiosity. It was a decision that, in any other circumstance, would have seemed harmless, a young boy eager to discover what lay beyond the bend. Yet when the family rounded the corner, Paddy was nowhere to be seen. The immediate area, once a source of wonder, became a vast expanse of uncertainty. Joe, his mother, and their cousins called out for Paddy, their voices growing more desperate with each unanswered call. The realization that Paddy was missing sent a chill through the air, transforming the adventure into a nightmare. The family's search began fervently, with hopes that Paddy had simply wandered off the path. As minutes turned into hours without any sign of Paddy, the severity of the situation sank in. The search expanded beyond the family to include park rangers, volunteers, and the largest manhunt in Victoria's history. Despite the collective efforts and resources poured into finding Paddy, the wilderness offered no clues, no traces of the young boy who had vanished. The discovery of Paddy's yellow plastic rain hat was the only evidence found, a haunting reminder of the boy who once wore it. The search continued, fueled by hope and the refusal to give up on one of their own. Yet, as days passed, the reality of the situation weighed heavily on the family, particularly on Joe, who grappled with the loss of his brother and the helplessness that accompanied it. Joe's reflections during the drive home, leaving the vast darkness of the wilderness behind, capture the profound sadness of a family faced with the unimaginable. The journey, once filled with anticipation for the day's adventure, was now a sad return to a life forever altered. The absence of Paddy was a void that no amount of distance could diminish, a loss that time could not heal. Years later, Joe's bravery in sharing the story of Paddy's disappearance is a testament to their enduring love for his brother. It is a reminder of the fragility of life and the strength of a family's bond in the face of tragedy. Paddy's disappearance remains a painful chapter in the Hildebrand family's history, yet his memory lives on, a reminder of the pebble in the shoe ever present, a symbol of love and loss intertwined. In the heart of Montana, nestled within the embrace of the Elkhorn Mountains, was a little boy named Danny. Danny was just 4 years old, a bundle of energy with a mop of curly hair that danced in the wind and a smile that lit up the dense forests of Helena. It was June 20th, 1993, a day that began like any other for the Thomas family, yet it was destined to etch a permanent scar in their hearts. Danny's parents, Sarah and Michael Thomas, had packed their car early that morning, filling it with picnic baskets, blankets, and Danny's favorite toys. The air was filled with the excitement of a family adventure as they set off to join their close friends for a ham radio gathering in the serene setting of a campground by Maupin Creek. The sun was generous that day, casting a warm glow over the meadows and distant peaks, promising a day of laughter and joy. As they arrived, the campground was bustling with the activity of friends setting up for the day. There were tables laden with food, radios crackling with distant voices, and children's laughter echoing through the trees. Danny was in his element, chasing after butterflies and joining the other kids in games of hide and seek among the tall pines and along the babbling brook. Sarah and Michael, with their hearts light and carefree, watched over Danny, their gazes filled with love and pride. They joined in the festivities, sharing stories with friends and tuning into the ham radios, while keeping a watchful eye on their son playing nearby. As the afternoon waned, the children, led by Danny, ventured to the beaver dams on Maupin Creek, a wonder spot for little explorers. With his usual curiosity, Danny sat by the water's edge, fascinated by the rippling water and the promise of spotting a beaver. The others, drawn by new adventures, wandered off, leaving Danny in his moment of quiet discovery. Minutes passed, a short period that would forever change the course of the Thomas family's life. He was gone when one of the children looked back to invite Danny to a new game. Panic surged through the group as they called out his name, their voices carrying through the woods, met only with silence. The alarm spread quickly to the adults, and the entire campground was soon mobilized in a frantic search for Danny. Calls were made, and before long the police, joined by volunteers and community members, scoured the area. The search expanded to the dense underbrush and the chilling depths of nearby ponds, but Danny was nowhere to be found. As the hours turned to days, the initial rush of activity and hope dimmed under the weight of reality. Once fueled by urgency, the search teams moved with heavy hearts, the possibilities growing darker with each passing moment. Sarah and Michael, their faces etched with despair, held on to each other, their hope flickering in the cruel, relentless wind. The possibility that Danny might have been taken by someone, a stranger among them on that fateful day, became a theory the police couldn't ignore. Despite efforts to trace every lead and follow every footprint left in the soft earth of the Elkhorn Mountains, the mystery of Danny's disappearance remained unsolved, a gaping wound in the fabric of their family and the community. Years passed, but the pain of that day remained as sharp as ever for Sarah and Michael. Their home, once filled with laughter and the patter of little feet, echoed with the silence of their lost son. They kept his room untouched, a shrine to the memories and the hope that one day, somehow, Danny would return to them. The story of Danny's disappearance spread far and wide, a reminder of the fragility of happiness and the strength of a parent's love. And though the world moved on, the mystery of what happened to Danny in the shadow of the Elkhorn Mountains, a tale of loss and longing, remained forever imprinted on those who knew and loved him. On a crisp October morning in 1999, the Colorado mountains stood majestically under the clear blue sky, a silent witness to the laughter and innocence of a family about to face the unimaginable. Alan Atadero, a devoted father, had planned a serene day in the heart of this wilderness, not knowing it would turn into a lifelong quest for answers. Jared Atadero, a lively 3-year-old with a mischievous smile and boundless energy, was the light of Alan's life. Along with his sister Jocelyn, the Atadero children embodied joy and curiosity. The day before Jared's disappearance, the siblings played without a care, their laughter echoing through the Poudre River Resort, a place their father cherished but would soon associate with profound loss. The following day, Jared and Jocelyn joined a hiking group, embarking on an adventure along the Big South Trail, a path that meandered through the Roosevelt National Forest. Alan's reluctance to let Jared go was overridden by assurances that the journey would be a simple visit to the nearby fish hatchery. But fate had a different plan, and the group ventured further into the wilderness. As the hikers progressed, the group inadvertently split, with Jared somehow moving ahead. Witnesses, 2 fishermen, last saw him by the Camp 2 Inches sign, his slight figure disappearing from view, stepping into a mystery that would perplex and haunt many for decades. When the realization hit that Jared was missing, a desperate search ensued, with Alan's heart-wrenching cries of "They lost my baby" reverberating through the mountains. The initial hope of a quick recovery faded with each passing hour, giving way to a complex search operation that battled the elements in the rugged terrain. The search for Jared became a monumental effort, marked by the tragic crash of a search helicopter, adding to the chaos and deepening the despair. The community rallied and searchers dedicated their all, but Jared remained lost in the forest. Alan's life was forever altered in those agonizing days. The vibrant home filled with Jared's laughter became a silent memorial of his absence. Each day became a struggle, a father's grief mirroring his undying love for his son. Jocelyn, in her innocence, offered comfort with words beyond her years, reminding her father that Jared was in God's care now. The years passed, with the mystery of Jared's disappearance capturing the hearts of many nationwide. Then, in a twist of fate, a discovery by hikers brought a semblance of closure. Jared's remains were found, offering answers yet leaving questions. The theory of a mountain lion attack emerged as the most plausible explanation, though certainty remained elusive. Through the pain and the endless search for answers, Alan found a way to honor Jared's memory, championing causes for the safety and support of others in the wilderness. The annual celebration of Jared's life, the empty seat at Jocelyn's wedding, and the moments of solace found in their song, "Wish You Were Here," kept his spirit alive. In the end, Alan's journey through the depths of despair led him to a place of peace, a hard-earned acceptance of life's mysteries. The mountains that once echoed with Jared's laughter now stand as a testament to a father's unwavering and eternal love. Though the pebble of Jared's memory remains, it is a reminder of the love that binds them and transcends the bounds of earth and time. On an autumn day in October 2006, the beauty of Crater Lake National Park was fully on display, with its deep blue waters reflecting the clear skies above. Sammy Bölke, an adventurous 8-year-old boy with a sparkle in his brown eyes, was about to embark on a day he had been eagerly anticipating, exploring the park's wonders with his father Kenneth. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of pine, and promised memorable father-son moments. Kenneth, a loving father with a gentle demeanor, had planned this trip as a bonding experience. Sammy, with his mild autism, found comfort in the serene landscapes, away from the loud noises and bright lights that often overwhelmed him. The vast openness of Crater Lake, with its mystical allure and tranquil beauty, was a perfect escape for Sammy, who was as curious as he was cautious, his imagination captivated by the natural world. As they arrived near Cleetwood Cove, the afternoon sun painted golden hues across the park, and Sammy's excitement was palpable. He donned his favorite red suede slip-on shoes and a blue winter coat to fend off the chill, and his eyes shone with anticipation. Kenneth watched his son, his heart swelling with love and pride, knowing these moments were precious. They decided to play tag, a simple game that turned into a moment of laughter and joy echoing through the trees. With a burst of energy, Sammy ran up a cinder slope, his laughter filling the air. Kenneth called out to him, his voice laced with warmth and amusement. But as the shadows grew longer, a hint of urgency crept into his tone, signaling it was time to head back. But Sammy, caught in the thrill of the game and perhaps the allure of finding gold in the form of some yellow rocks, didn't respond. Kenneth's calls grew more desperate as he followed Sammy up the slope, but the boy, perhaps thinking it was still part of the game, kept ahead, his figure disappearing over the crest. Panic set in for Kenneth as the realization dawned that Sammy was no longer in sight. The serene landscape suddenly seemed vast and foreboding, with every tree and shadow appearing as a potential hiding spot for Sammy. Kenneth's calls became cries echoing through the park, a desperate plea for Sammy to return. The search began immediately, with park rangers frantically joining Kenneth to find Sammy before darkness enveloped the park. The community rallied, volunteers poured in, and the search expanded. But as hours turned into days, hope began to wane. The park, a place of natural beauty, became a backdrop for a parent's worst nightmare. Back home, Kirsten, Sammy's mother, was engulfed in a storm of emotions. The news of her son's disappearance was a crushing blow, rendering her world a blur of fear and despair. She clung to the memories of Sammy, his laughter, his spirited nature, and his love for the outdoors. The thought of him alone in the vast wilderness was unbearable. Days passed with no sign of Sammy. The search efforts were hindered by the rugged terrain and the approaching winter snow. Kenneth and Kirsten faced the harrowing reality that Sammy might never be found. The park, once a symbol of adventure and family bonding, now reminded them of their loss. The search for Sammy Bölke eventually had to be called off. The mystery of his disappearance remains unsolved. Kenneth and Kirsten were left with a void, a life forever altered by that autumn day in Crater Lake National Park. They held on to the hope that Sammy's spirit was still out there, somewhere among the ancient forests and deep waters, a boy lost but never forgotten. Years have passed since Sammy vanished, but his story remains etched in the hearts of those who knew him and those touched by the tragedy. Crater Lake, with its serene beauty and mysterious depths, continues to draw visitors. But for Kenneth and Kirsten, it is a place where time stands still, a reminder of the day their world changed forever.